Hello fellow peeps, this story today is about how I got into the drone industry. I know it doesn't sound so interesting of a story, but actually it's a very interesting story because the universe did all the work for me. I just took the steps that the universe presented. And this is what we are going to start diving into now. I'm going to start going into my more esoteric experiences. And this is one of them. This isn't really esoteric. It's just more like the universe doing some good work for me. But that's what I mean. We're going to start getting into more universe talk and stuff like that. So it started many years ago when I was still not even in New Zealand, when I was just before going to New Zealand the first time, because I lived in New Zealand for a little bit. And before leaving, drones was already becoming a thing around me. It wasn't necessarily saying that I was being presented drones or anything like that, but people were talking about it. My aunt had talked about drones to me. Then my mom had talked about drones to me. Then something came up about drones. I think it was something about a drone course, and I didn't pay much attention, obviously. I then went down to New Zealand. Lots more drone stuff happened. So when I was in New Zealand, a couple other drone things came up. For example, I even got a few drones, not amazing drones, not big, DJIs or anything like that, but well enough drones. Especially this one that I got was enough to not call it a toy anymore. It was now a drone. And it was freaking cool to fly that thing, although they were hard to fly because they didn't have proper GPS lock and things like that. They were still a lot of fun to fly. But that's all it ever was fun. And then I came back to South Africa and I got into a job. I actually got into a whole situation, which I'm not going to talk about in this video, but it was a comfort zone, basically. I had a comfort zone set up for myself where I wasn't really advancing much. I was kind of keeping myself stagnant and behind in life, which is part of why I'm so obsessed with constantly trying to make progress now. But we'll talk about that, like I said, in another video when I talk about my 3-year comfort zone. For now, we are talking about the drones. So in that comfort zone, I was working in security for a few months and I hated it, absolutely hated it. You see horrible things, you have to do scary things, it's not fun. While I was there, the drones were presented to me again, and this time a course was presented to me. My mom actually sent an email saying, hey, there's this drone course, do you want to do something like this for your birthday? And I was like, hell yes, I would like to do that. But I didn't follow her email. What I actually did was, of all the people on my contact list, all of them, probably 1,000. That might sound extreme, but it might be. Or maybe it wasn't that much back then, but it was a lot. I still had a lot of contacts, and the one person, literally the one person that I hit up, I messaged her and I was like, hey, I'm looking to get into drones. Do you know anything about it and can you help me? This one person on my whole contact list doesn't only know drones, isn't only in the drone industry, but actually works at a drone school. An officially licensed CAA drone school. CAA, just for you, those of you who don't know, is the Civil Aviation Authority. They're basically the governing body of civil aviation in a country. Certain countries, not all countries, but our specific country has SACAA, South African Civil Aviation Authority. And this school, this drone school, was the first ever of its kind. There were a whole bunch of bonuses. I was like, hell yes, get me in this, let's do this. So we paid the basic fees for the initial RPL, remote pilot license, and I did it through that school. So the first miraculous thing, obviously, was that my friend that I contacted actually worked with drones and worked in a school. So it was easy for me to get into the school. Then the next miraculous thing was that during my course, on all the mock exams, I was getting 20, 30%. I think one I even got 8% because I could. Well, what was I supposed to do? 12 to 14 hour night shifts of security and then into 6 to 8 hours of classrooms. Now you want me to go home and study? Not gonna happen. So I didn't study, I did nothing. And my instructor at the time, who's now one of my good friends, she admitted to me, she saw my marks and she was like, this kid is gonna fail. And then I didn't. This is the shocking thing, is I then scraped my act together, did a whole bunch of studying, started realizing how I needed to study the material and how to expect it to be presented in the exam. started focusing on that, started studying a little bit differently, got a little bit of assistance from my friend, and I then smacked 100% on the exam. And I was told that I was actually told something like only 5 people ever have done this. So I don't actually know if that makes me the 5th one or the sixth one, but I was that person only ever. In the whole time the school had been open since 2015, and I did this course in 2019. The end of 2019 is when I did this course. And because I smacked 100%, which was kind of another thing of the universe kind of helping me out there, I smacked 100%. And then I went through a whole panic attack because I was like, oh no, I got 100%. What if they think I've cheated or something like that? And now the CA does a whole inspection. I don't know. I was freaking out. Back then, I wasn't very secure. So I was it was very easy to get me anxious and overthinking about nonsense. So I was overthinking, and then actually good came from it. Instead of, I should have been thinking positively, because instead of any inspection or nonsense like that, what actually happened was the school approached me and said, hey Josh, you got 100% on your theory exam. Why don't you come and work for us? So I was like, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, dude. I got into the drone industry easily because I contacted the right person and I had a person to contact. I then smacked 100%, which was just amazing, which then got me to have a job right off the bat I hadn't even gotten my RPL yet, and they were like, come work with us. And I was like, hell yes, dude, I will come and work with you. So I had started my work while my license was being processed. And that is how I got into the drone industry. Some amazing things happened thereafter. I racked up ratings. A rating now is basically an additional ability or skill level that you add onto your license. So you get an initial RPL, which is your initial remote pilot license. The equivalent in the current education system would be a matric certificate. It's a basis, a foundation, but you want to add more on top of it. So then you go onto other things like the BVLOS, which stands for Beyond Visual Line of Sight. I'm not going to explain these things. If you want to know about those things, I have a Udemy course. Go and check it out. Very, very awesome course, very beneficial. I've been an instructor for over 3 years, so I know what I'm talking about. And that's why I've made the course. So if you do want to know, I'll leave a link in the description. Maybe it'll have a code or something like that. I don't know. But either way, there will be a link in the description that you can go check out the Udemy course. So what happened with the drones is once all of that had leveled out, once the universe had given me that foundation, go through the course, get a job, have a job, it then started helping me add on to my skills. So I then got the BVLOS rating for free. The BVLOS rating is very expensive, and I got it for free because I got 100% on my exam. So the school was like, how can we keep him? How can we have him work to the best of his ability? And I was like, well, train me to do stuff that I can train other people on. And they were like, cool, we'll do that. So they gave me BVLOS, they then gave me fixed wing, they gave me fixed wing BVLOS. They even gave me all the way up to QMS, which is Quality Management Systems, which is basically heading into the management side of things, the quality side of things, and the management side of things. They gave that to me right before I left, which actually was just a bonus for me because they knew that I was going to be leaving, and they were still like, anyways, let's give you QMS and you can have it. And I was like, okay, cool. It was very poorly run, so they didn't anticipate the future too much. They knew that 3 to 6 months I was going to be gone. They knew it before I knew it, but still they gave me the QMS and I was like, yes, I'll take it. So that's all my ratings. That's everything I've got on my license, and it's pretty cool. It's a lot of ratings. It's a heck lot of ratings. And that is the story of how I got into drones and how the drone industry has kind of worked out for me very nicely. If you want a little tidbit for the end, I've been in the industry now for a long time, over 3 years. I've been an instructor for over 3 years. I've done other things as well, odd jobs here and there, training in other countries as well. Now I've taken my expertise onto I am still currently an instructor. That's my main job, an instructor and a bunch of other stuff. But I've also taken my expertise now onto online platforms like Udemy. And that's where I sit right now. I have a job, a nice stable income, and I have Udemy, which is slowly growing, and I appreciate that. So if you do want to check that out, go ahead and check that out. Okay, that's me in the drone world. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for leaving a like. leave a comment. Let me know if you're interested in drones, anything like that. Maybe if you want to get the Udemy course, we can arrange a deal, you know, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you in the next video.